Hello, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games basketball tournaments draw for both the men and the women. My name is Chris Brow, and I have the honor to welcome you to the Patrick Baumann House of Basketball today for this event. And I really hope everybody is looking forward to this just as much as I am. Now, I think we can all agree that 2020 was an extraordinary year, which lies behind us. And for the first time in history, the Olympic Games had to be postponed. And we now find ourselves just about 5 months away from the start of the Tokyo Olympic Games. And like I said before, I think we're all looking forward to this. Between July 25th and August 8th, 2021, the 24 top teams, meaning 12 men's and 12 women's teams, will play for the chance to be crowned Olympic champions. In Rio 2016, the USA brought home gold medals in both genders, while Serbia and Spain shared silver and bronze. And it will be interesting to see who will be standing on the podium in Tokyo in August. Now, there will be 2 draws today, the first for the women's tournament and the second for the men's. But before we start today's draw procedures, I would like to welcome on stage FIBA's Secretary General, Mr. Andreas Zaklis, to share a few words. Mr. Zaklis, welcome.
Thank you. Dear basketball friends, on behalf of FIBA, it is a pleasure to welcome you to the draw ceremony of the women's and men's Olympic basketball tournaments for the Games of the 32nd Olympiad in Tokyo. While the global pandemic and the postponement of the Summer Olympics was not the way we had imagined to finish this 4-year period called an Olympiad, FIBA is confident that we will enjoy the world's best basketball players performing this coming July in the capital of Japan. We're thankful to our partners, the International Olympic Committee and the Tokyo 2020 Organizing Committee, for their hard and meticulous work focused on athlete safety. FIBA is also confident for the smooth delivery of the Olympic basketball tournaments based on its own proven operational capacity during the last 7 months. Last October and November, for example, FIBA and its regional offices managed to have no less than 114 men's and women's national teams travel internationally and play safely in biosecure hubs, performing approximately 12,000 PCR tests. Since then, we have continued operating the so-called bubbles week in, week out around the world for our club and national team competitions. Our collaboration with the NBA and the World Health Organization will ensure that the latest know-how is used for the protection of basketball players, being constantly shared with the IOC and the Tokyo organizers. We're also very glad and appreciative of the fact that following FIBA's consultations with the NBA, the adjusted NBA calendar is compatible with the dates of the Summer Olympics. Dear basketball friends, in these challenging times, our sport has demonstrated that unity and vision to find solutions for the return to basketball are there and they are possible. With these thoughts of optimism in an ever-changing environment, we're excited to find out today the groups of teams and the games to be played in the Super Saitama Arena of Tokyo, where we experienced unforgettable moments also in the 2006 FIBA World Cup. Together with our best wishes for health and safety, we hope that you enjoy today's draw ceremony. Good luck to all the participating teams. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you very much, Mr. Zaklis. Now, ladies and gentlemen, for Tokyo, there will be a new competition system in place. That means the group phase will consist of 12 teams being divided into 3 groups with 4 teams each. The teams placed first and second in each group, and the second best third place teams in the group phase qualify for the final phase. Following the conclusion of the group phase, draw will take place to determine the pairings of the quarterfinals. Now, this stage of the competition is then played in a knockout format. These changes were made to the competition system in order to bring additional interest to every game of the group phase, but also to reduce the players' workload. Now, to win gold, a team now has to play 6 games instead of 8, as it has been in the past. But now, let's focus on the actual draw, and let's start with the women. Now, the field for Tokyo was complete in February 2020 after the FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournaments, which took place in Belgium, France, and Serbia. Let's take in some action of the 12 qualified teams. Here we go. looks exciting. Ladies and gentlemen, the 12 teams qualified to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games women's basketball tournament are from Africa, Nigeria, from the Americas, Canada, Puerto Rico, and the USA. From Asia, China, Japan, and Korea. From Europe, Belgium, France, Serbia, and Spain. And from Oceania, Australia. And as usual, there is always a technical part of the draw. And to lead today's procedures, we are joined by FIBA's Sports and Competitions Director, Mr. Predrag Bogoslavlev. So welcome on stage, Mr. Bogoslavlev. Great to have you with us.
Thank you.
How are you doing today?
I am excellent as always.
All right. So you're going to tell us more about the procedure, right?
Yes, I will just give you a couple of hints. First of all, why we are doing the draw and what is our main goal. So the goal is, at the end of the draw, to have the groups of a similar quality and to have the teams coming from the same continent or geographic region, evenly distributed across the groups. So in order to achieve that goal, we developed some principles, and we'll see them in the following video.
"12 teams have qualified to the Tokyo 2020 Women's Olympic Basketball Tournament, representing the 5 continents. They have been allocated to 4 pots based on the FIBA Women's World Ranking, presented by Nike. The draw will distribute the teams in 3 groups of 4 teams each. There can be a maximum of 1 group with 2 European teams, and no more than 1 team from other continents in the same group. All teams will be drawn and placed into either Group A, B, or C. 3 additional pots, each containing the numbers 1 to 4, will be used to determine the position of each team within their group and the subsequent order of games. Teams will be drawn pot by pot and one by one, and will be assigned to the first available group according to the alphabetical order. Our draw software will always assist by visualizing the groups available for the team drawn. We will start with pot 1. Due to scheduling requests received from the International Olympic Committee, the previous Olympic champions USA shall be drawn in groups B or C, playing on the second game day. All other pots will be drawn in the same manner. In pot 2, Canada cannot be drawn in the group with the USA. In pot 3, due to scheduling requests received from the International Olympic Committee, the host Japan shall also play in Group B or in Group C. In this case, Serbia must be drawn in Group B to equally distribute the European teams. Pot 4 will conclude the draw. Korea will be drawn in the group without Asian teams, and Puerto Rico in the one without any teams from the Americas. The draw is completed when all teams have been drawn and placed in the correct position in each group.
So far to the procedures, and on hand to help with the draw are 2 Swiss youth national team players. On the one side, we have Na Konaate, and on the other, Anais Balatambo. Great to have you with us, and welcome to the House of Basketball. Now, I think we're ready to commence, so let the draw begin.
Thank you. Just 1 second before we start. I would just like to remind you once again what you will be seeing on the stage today. So we'll start the draw by drawing the teams from the pots on my right-hand side. The team will be then allocated to the group, for which we'll need assistance of our software. Software will calculate available groups based on the principles you just saw in the info video, and the available groups will be highlighted on the screen. In case of multiple choice, the team will be always allocated to the first available group according to the alphabetic order. Once we know the team and the group, we'll proceed with drawing the competition number from the pots on my left-hand side, and those numbers are important because those numbers will determine the order of the games during the preliminary stage of the Olympics in Tokyo. So I think we are ready to start now, and we'll start with the pot 1, the first team from the pot 1. Team USA. There are 2 groups available for USA team, but USA goes to the group B.
And the Americans won all 3 of their games at the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament in Serbia last year and are aiming at a new record of 7 consecutive Olympic gold medals in Tokyo.
Competition number for Team USA is number 4. We're proceeding with the second team from the pot 1. Spain. Spain will go to the group A, the first available group.
Spain have reached the podium at 9 of the last 10 FIBA Women's Eurobaskets and captured titles on 3 occasions, including 2019.
The competition number for Spain is number 4. And the last team from the pot 1 is Australia. And Australia obviously goes to the group C.
And Australia reached the podium at 5 consecutive Olympics before finishing 5th in 2016, and now they will be making their 9th Olympic appearance in Tokyo.
With number 1. We'll continue with the pot 2. The first team from the pot 2, Canada. Canada has 2 possibilities. First available group, Group A.
Canada finished 2nd at the FIBA Women's AmeriCup in 2019 and were undefeated at the Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament in February last year.
And the number for Canada is number 3. The second team from the pot 2, France. Again, 2 options. First available alphabetical order is Group B.
France finished 4th at the 2016 Olympic Games in Rio, 5th at the FIBA Women's World Cup in 2019, and were undefeated at the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament in Bulgaria.
Number 3 for France. And the last team from the pot 2, Belgium. Belgium will go to the Group C.
Belgium, in their first FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup, finished 4th in 2018 in Tenerife.
And the number for Belgium is number 4. Let's go to the pot 3, the first team. Serbia. Serbia has 2 options. First available alphabetical order is Group A. Group A for Serbia.
Serbia were 3rd at the FIBA Women's Eurobasket in 2019, and the team clinched a spot in Tokyo with a good performance while hosting a FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament in Belgrade.
And number 2 for Serbia. Next team from the pot 3. The host, Japan. 2 options. Japan goes to the Group B, first available.
Host Japan made it to the quarterfinals of the Rio Olympic Games in 2016, and they won their 4th straight FIBA Women's Asia Cup in 2019 and have played in 13 FIBA Basketball World Cups.
Number 2 for Japan. The last team from the pot 3. Is China, and obviously China goes to the Group C.
China were quarterfinalists at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2018 and 2nd at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup in 2019. They were undefeated at the FIBA Women's Olympic Qualifying Tournament in February last year.
The number for Japan is number 3. And we are moving to the last pot, pot 4. The first team from the pot 4. Is Korea. Only 1 option for Korea, Group A.
Korea earned a spot in Tokyo at the FIBA Women's Olympic qualifying tournament in Serbia, and they played at the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2018 and were fourth at the FIBA Women's Asia Cup in 2019.
Number 1 for Korea. Next team from the pot 4. Nigeria. Nigeria has to go to the group B.
Nigeria won the last 2 women's Afro baskets, and with Senegal became the first African countries to advance the group phase at the Women's World Cup in 2018.
Number 1 for Nigeria. And the last team for women's draw is Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico goes to the group C.
Puerto Rico clinched a spot in the Summer Games for the first time at the Women's Olympic qualifying tournament in France last year, and they played in the FIBA Women's Basketball World Cup 2018 and finished fourth at the Women America Cup in 2019.
And obviously competition number for Puerto Rico is number 2. This brings us to the end of the women's draw. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you for your support so far, Anais and Na, and also Mr. Boguslavlev. And ladies and gentlemen, the draw for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games women's basketball tournament is now complete. And these are the groups. Let's have a look one more time. Group A sees Korea, Serbia, Canada, and Spain. In Group B, we have Nigeria, Japan, France, and the USA. And in Group C, Australia, Puerto Rico, China, and Belgium. And now it's time to turn our attention to the men. The FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 directly qualified 7 teams to the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, with Japan receiving automatic qualification as the hosts of the Olympic tournament. Now, the 8 countries qualified so far are from Africa, Nigeria; from the Americas, Argentina and the USA; from Asia, Iran and Japan; from Europe, France and Spain; and from Oceania, Australia. Now, the 4 remaining places are reserved for the winners of each of the 4 FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments, the so-called OQTs. The OQTs will take place from June 29th to July 4th in Victoria, Canada, in Split, Croatia, in Kaunas, Lithuania, and Belgrade, Serbia, with the 24 teams that you should be able to see on the screen right now. And let me tell you, there is going to be some fierce competition on the court this summer. I don't know about you, but those images always make me want to jump on the court right away. So welcome back to the stage, Mr. Boguslavlev.
Thank you.
And let's take a look at the draw procedures.
8 teams have already qualified to the Tokyo 2020 Men's Olympic Basketball Tournament, representing the 5 continents. The remaining 4 slots will be awarded to the 4 teams winning the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments, also known as OQTs. Scheduled from the 29th of June to the 4th of July 2021. In Victoria, Canada, Split, Croatia, Kaunas, Lithuania, and Belgrade, Serbia. The 12 teams have been divided in 4 pots, based on the FIBA Men's World Ranking presented by Nike. The distribution of the future winners of the 4 FIBA Olympic qualifying tournaments is based on the best ranked team in each event. The draw will distribute the teams in 3 groups of 4 teams each. There can be a maximum of 2 European teams in the same group, and no more than 1 team from other continents in the same group. All teams will be drawn and placed into either Group A, B, or C. 3 additional pots, each containing the numbers 1 to 4, will be used to determine the positions of each team within their group and the subsequent order of games. Teams will be drawn pot by pot and 1 by 1, and will be assigned to the first available group according to the alphabetical order. Our draw software will always assist by visualizing the groups available for the team drawn. We will start with pot 1. Due to scheduling requests received from the International Olympic Committee, the previous Olympic champions USA shall be drawn in groups A or B, playing on the first game day. In pot 2, Argentina shall not be drawn in the group with the other team from the Americas, USA. As European teams, France and the winner of the OQT played in Belgrade, represented for the purpose of the draw by the best-ranked team, Serbia, cannot be drawn with Spain. Pot 3 shall be distributed with a straight draw. Finally, in pot 4, due to scheduling requests received from the International Olympic Committee, the host Japan shall be allocated to Group C and will play on the second game day. The draw is completed when all teams have been drawn and placed in the correct position in each group.
And I'd also like to welcome back Na and also Anais. We couldn't do this without you, so welcome back to the stage. And I think we're ready now to tip off the men's draw.
Yes, I think we are ready. We have actually followed exactly the same procedure we did for the women's draw. So we will start by drawing the team, allocating the team to the first available group, drawing the competition number, and then continue until we distribute all the teams to the respective groups. So we are ready. With the draw for the first, we start with the pot 1. The first team from the pot 1 is USA. 2 available groups for USA. As explained, we go for the first available group according to the alphabetic order, which is the Group A.
The USA have made 18 Olympic appearances in all, and they have won a medal in every participation. They are now going after a 4th consecutive Olympic gold medal in Tokyo.
The number for Group USA is number 3. Second team from the pot 1. Australia will go to the Group B.
Australia, 4th at the FIBA Basketball World Cup last year and also at the Rio Summer Games in 2016, have played at every Olympics since 1972, and they won the FIBA Asia Cup in 2017.
And the number for Australia is number 1. The last team from the pot 1. Spain obviously goes to the Group C.
Spain. This will be Spain's 13th appearance at the Olympics. They were World Cup champions in 2019 and claimed Olympic silver medals in 1984, 2008, and 2012.
Number 3 for Spain. Moving to the pot 2, the first team from the pot 2. Argentina. the only available group for Argentina is Group C.
Argentina, Olympic champions in 2004, and they finished runners-up at the FIBA Basketball World Cup 2019 in China.
Number 1 for Argentina. Second team from the pot 2. France. Team France, first available group is Group A.
Their best Olympic finish was second in 2000, while in Rio, they made it to the quarterfinals. France finished third at the last 2 FIBA Basketball World Cups in 2014 and 2019.
Number 2 for France. And the last team from the pot 2. OQTB, which is actually winner of the Olympic qualifying tournament in Belgrade. This team will go to the Group B.
And the 6 teams competing in Belgrade will be Dominican Republic, Italy, New Zealand, Puerto Rico, Senegal, and Serbia.
The number for the winner of the OQT in Belgrade is number 3. Let's continue with the pot 3. Winner of the Olympic qualifying tournaments in Victoria, Canada, will go to the Group A, as all 3 groups are available. First available, alphabetical order, is Group A.
The 6 teams competing in Canada will be Canada, China, Czech Republic, Greece, Turkey, and Uruguay.
Number 4 for winner of the OQT in Canada. The next one from the pot 3. Is winner of the Olympic qualifying tournament in Split, Croatia. This team will go to the Group B.
The 6 teams competing in Split, Croatia will be Brazil, Croatia, Germany, Mexico, Russia, and Tunisia.
With the number 2. And we have the last team in the pot 3. This is the winner of the Olympic qualifying tournament in Kaunas, Lithuania. And this team will go to the Group C.
And the 6 teams competing in Lithuania will be Angola, Korea, Lithuania, Poland, Slovenia, and Venezuela.
The number is 4. We are coming to the last pot, the first team from the last pot. The home team, Japan. Japan will go to the Group C as only possibility.
Host Japan are making their 7th appearance at the Olympics, but their first since 1976. Japan played at the FIBA Olympic qualifying tournament in Belgrade in 2016 and also at the FIBA Basketball World Cup in 2019.
Number 2 for Japan. Next team from the pot 4. Iran. Iran will go to the Group A.
Iran, Asia Cup champions in 2007, 2009, and 2013, are competing in the Olympics the 3rd time.
With number 1. And the last team from the pot 4. Is Nigeria, and obviously goes to the Group B.
Nigeria have had exciting teams play at the 2012 and 2016 Olympics and won the AfroBasket 2015 and finished 2nd at the AfroBasket 2017.
With only remaining number is number 4. So this brings us to the end of today's draw. Chris.
Exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, the field for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games men's basketball tournament is now complete. And these are the groups. Let's have a quick recap. In Group A, we see Iran, France, USA, and the winner of the OQT in Canada. In Group B, we have Australia, the winner of the OQT in Split, Croatia, and also the OQT in Belgrade, and Nigeria. And in Group C, we have Argentina, Japan, Spain, and the winner of the OQT in Kaunas, Lithuania. I'd also like to thank Na for joining us, and also Anais for your support. Very, very nice. And also a big thank you, of course, to the FIBA Sport and Competitions Director, Mr. Bogoslavlev. Great to have you with us.
Thank you too.
This concludes the draw for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games basketball tournaments. I'd like to thank you all for tuning in from around the world. We're going to say goodbye now here from the Patrick Baumann House of Basketball in Switzerland. And until the games, stay safe, stay healthy, and wishing everybody an exciting and successful basketball year 2021. Goodbye.
Goodbye.